The concept of the website has been with us for more than 30 years. Sure, they look quite a bit different than they did back then, but their main purpose, providing information to visitors, hasn't really changed. And the way they go about providing that information hasn't changed much either. So what's the role of the website in an AI world where agents can get you the information you need without clicking and scrolling? Today, we're talking to a CMO who turned her site over to the agents. Welcome to Conversations with MarTech.
Hi, my name's Danika Wong. I'm the CMO at Satisfi Labs. We are an AI agentic platform. I oversee the branding, the product, everything that has to do with promoting AI agents for the sports, entertainment, and business.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, Danika. Because it's relevant to what we're going to discuss next, take a couple minutes and tell us about your company and what it does and who it serves.
Yeah, like I said, Satisfi Labs is an agentic platform. We specialize in developing and deploying AI agents for the sports, entertainment, and tourism businesses. When I say specialize, our AI agents are really focused on domain expertise, whether that is in guest experience, ticketing, food and beverage, and they all are tied to business outcomes. So across the experience and destination umbrella, they are thinking of, how do we enhance the guest experience? How do we increase revenue on site? And then how do we acquire more insights? And we do all that with these specialized agents.
All right. So you guys build specialized agents. You focus on the customer experience. Share with us, what did you do to your website and why?
Yeah. At the beginning of the year, we were doing a visual rebrand. And obviously what comes with that is rethinking the website. And so I wanted to take a step back and really rethink, what does it mean? What is a website meant to do today? We have over 800 clients in, like I said, the sports entertainment business. And the data showed, at least from their side, that over 40% of questions were still about ticketing and ticket sales. And if you think about a website, it's being optimized for the conversion. And if you still have questions being asked, there's two things. One, they're not finding that information on their website. So there's something broken about how, the website is conveying information. And two, people are inherently moving to these conversational chat experiences. We're seeing that with ChatGPT, along with Gemini. And we really wanted to put chat at the center of the experience because we see that's how users are moving. And so what we did is we put what we call a chat site. If you go to satisfilabs.com, you go straight into the chat experience. And you can ask really specific and granular questions about our product, about our company, about who we work for, because we really wanted to make it conversational. That doesn't mean that we didn't also provide a standard website. We still have a classic website, but we really wanted to think about how the two of them work together. So if you go to the classic side of the website, for a more visual experience, we also have what we call injector buttons. So we know throughout a regular website, you still have questions. You go to the product page and what does that mean? Well, we create these injector buttons that have the question that we assume you have, and then that drives into the chat experience. So we've essentially built a specialized AI agent that is Satisfi Labs has Satisfi Labs domain expertise. And we're trying to teach our users to go back to the chat when they have questions. So we were really thinking of this hybrid approach, but really wanted to make it chat forward.
And how's the reception been? And like you said, it's very easy because I've been to the site to click over to the classic site. For some of us, you get a little more comfortable feeling. This is what I'm expecting to see. But when you first go to the site, you're like, this is different.
Yeah. We have launched it in about 2.5 months ago. I will say we're still pulling a lot of data, but it's positive. We get a lot of interaction. We actually get a lot of interaction with those injector buttons as well, which I think what it does show is there are still people that really need to be brought into this new experience. but it is showing them that they can then from there go and ask more questions. So we're seeing a lot of specific questions and, things that as a marketer I look at, bounce rate and sessions and all that. None of that has decreased. We've kind of maintained that. And not to say, hey, everyone wildly is converting because of this, but we are seeing a lot more questions. We are seeing people getting to the demo page faster, at least for us. And those are positive indicators.
Sorry, you mentioned some of the traditional metrics we use. Look at web traffic, right? Bounce rate, time on site, et cetera. Are there new metrics for a chat-powered site that, like, if somebody is going to do this, they got to consider you're not going to see the same numbers. You got different things to track.
Yes. The first thing I would say from a positive perspective is you are getting intent data. So instead, and this is something I think across the board, even with our clients, but for ourselves, people have questions and, before you had to infer things from page clicks or page views and clicks and time on site. Now people are asking very direct questions in the chat. And so we get that intent data. We get to see what you actually want or what you actually need. So I'd say from that perspective, we are getting a lot more zero-party data, getting us a lot more insight into what the user needs. When we think about the traditional metrics, we have had to really play with working with the analytics and our agency on making sure that Google tags are on the chat open. So we can use that as an event and we can see that is an interaction. The injector buttons, we had to make sure that those were all tagged so that we could track those as actions. So things that might not have traditionally just been brought up in the analytics, we needed to take a few extra steps so that we could measure them, but they were measurable. And I would say also page views and time on site. If you're having a conversation, you're now having someone on site longer. We have seen more people spend more time initially on that first page as well.
We have all put a lot of energy into discussing the big LLMs, the Geminis and the Chat GPTs. Between us recording this and airing it, we'll probably see new models released. But take us inside the world of the vertical specific AI. Like, how are companies in your market thinking about AI and agents?
For sure. I think you can't get away from the news every day of all the big tech companies what's coming out with OpenAI and everyone else. What we talk about and where we specialize is in what we call the last mile. So if you think back to what it references, which is like Amazon delivery, and that last mile is the hardest. It's the most granular. It has the most complexity. That's what we do with specialized agents. We are building AI agents that are specifically tied to outcomes that these verticals care about. So if we think about the live experience market, people are going, for an experience. So there's a pre, during, and post, and there are specific actions people need to take and information they need. So we really optimize our AI agents with, tools and conversational design around and integrations with specific partners to make sure that we're really optimizing for taking those actions. Like, for example, buying a ticket directly in chat with our Ticketmaster integration, or being able to drive in our DMO space a meeting planner to fill out a form to be sent to a salesperson and routing that and having the AI agent really be tuned to those specific actions that they really value.
This space is developing so rapidly. What do you think comes next? If we were to have this conversation a year from now, early 2027, can't believe I'm saying that. What do you think we'd be talking about?
First of all, I would say in this space, making predictions a year out feels like asking us to make predictions probably 20 years out, but I will do my best. I will say, first of all, I will say the website as we know it today is dead. I will say a year from now, more people are going to catch on to this concept of how do you have a hybrid experience, a customer journey that brings someone into the chat, into an AI agent, and that they can have a conversation and have an optimal experience, and then know when to push them to a human or know when to push them to a physical experience. I do think marketers especially are going to start to catch on to this concept of, if I have specialized AI agents that can do a thing, how would I treat them as if they were an employee on my staff? And what would that conversational strategy be, that marketing strategy be, where, that experience with the AI agent is enhanced by a human, or a human can drive into an agent. So I think there's going to be a lot more play on that. The second thing is, we say, AI agents are like digital employees. And with that comes performance management. Next year, we're going to be talking much more, not about whether or not you should put chat on your website, right? Or should you have an agent experience? It'll be about, well, how do I measure that AI agent is doing what I need it to do, the way that I measure my human staff? So we think about our AI agents as, we build them to have OKRs, so objectives and key results. And we are soon coming out with a console that will have performance management at the forefront of that. And so I think next year is really going to be not, hey, should we do this? And how do we integrate? It'll be, how do we optimize and how do we leverage this as a strategic advantage with having all these extra employees on staff?
What about the agent to agent stuff? We keep hearing, right? The consumers are going to have agents, and you are, putting agents on sites. I will tell my agent to go find out everything about this event I'm going to.
Right.
Me going and doing it. What do you think is going to happen there?
For us, we're already developing that. Our guest experience agent knows to talk to the ticketing agent. I think there's so many more, opportunities if you think about agents having domain expertise or, subject matter expertise. And, one thing we need to really think about is, again, I go back to the performance and measurement. What's a business outcome? And then how do you make sure that each of them are doing those things? Whether or not we're handing off to an agent or agents are handing off to each other, it's inevitable that that's going to happen. I mean, they're already building the foundation. Google had the agent protocol come out, with MCPs as well. There's a whole world, I think, of an ecosystem of agents, again, working together, but we still have to, at the end of the day, be able to say, okay, but are they doing the things we need them to do? And bring that back to tying it into the overall business and how do we manage that, and manage them.
Exciting times ahead. Danika Wong is the CMO of Satisfi Labs. Thanks for joining us on Conversations with MarTech.
Thank you for having me.